28 days ago, I got out of inpatient rehab, and I really was afraid and scared about just everything in general. And so, one of the things I wanted to do was to put together a video journal of the journey, in a sense, through the first 28 days. Why 28 days? Because you'd spent 28 days in inpatient rehab, and I just didn't have any better idea, and that's what I thought, right? So it was the 29th day 29. So this is day 28, and I've made it through. I'm still alive. I've gotten through a lot of stuff that I had to get done. I'm kind of wondering what I'm going to do regarding podcasting with this moving forward. I have some really good ideas. Of course, we're going to work on goodbye letters, because, man, those things are just wonderful, right? And I haven't had a chance to spend time on them, but definitely something I want to keep doing. The goodbye letters. But, walking the other day, I had my headset on, and I was listening to Casting Crowns, and it's such a great line. Your life isn't falling apart, it's falling into place. And you told me that 35 days ago, I guess it would be, whatever it would look like 35 days ago, 30 days ago or so. I would have kind of smiled, walked off, and said, okay, right. But it's really kind of played its hand out for me, right? So my life did fall apart, and it was, not a good scene, never a good scene, right? But as new life falling into place, and so my goal of this was to be very authentic and real, and kind of put this stuff down, try to get better as I went along. But what struck me today was, Renee and I started this thing while I was, still an inpatient, talking to him on the phone and figuring out what, how I wanted to kind of capture this. And I don't know why the camera's doing that, but whatever. And today I had scheduled and had to get rescheduled a conversation I wanted to have, a video call with someone I thought that could really help us out with growing this, and give us some direction and some advice. So, I thought it would be kind of special. Excuse me one sec, folks. I think that's the problem. Thought it'd be kind of fancy and pull up our YouTube page. And, that's just from 30 days, really, of being out of an inpatient rehab, and we got a page that looks like that. We only have 17 subscribers, but we got a lot of views, and we got a lot of videos. So I guess the point of all this is, anybody can do this, right? It's so silly looking, but they really are working. I've never done this before in my life. I did something like this when I was in Chicago for a company I worked for, the funding stop, and we used it in Constant Contact. But this amazes me. So I'm going to keep pursuing this. I'm going to try to do dailies on this. Life gets, carries on, and things get hectic, and all the things you dream for, and hope start falling into place. So your time gets really sort of consumed, right? Because you have some goals when you come out. As I had a lot of things I wanted to just re-engage on. So you got to be careful, because those things might actually come true, and your whole life will go another direction. My life is going to go a whole nother direction. I'm excited about it. I'm a little nervous. A lot of steps I have to take, but this has been a very freeing process for me. I don't know kind of what the next of these are going to look like. I'm kicking around some ideas with Renee. Uh, I want to talk to my sponsor, of course. I did have a discussion with my friend Rick about a new kind of cool logo design. I mean, I like the button, right? But it's kind of bold. If we're going to keep this up and try to make it something that grows very organically, I think it's got to look organic, if that's even a thing. So I'm going to talk to Rick over the weekend, see what we can do on that. And I said a lot of things to do today. And, again, I keep preaching this, but you got to set goals every day. And so this is the last thing I had to do today, because I just didn't know how to do this particular video. Like, I just, it's like, okay, where do we go from here, right? With this project. This is like not even a project when I started. It's like, okay, I think I can help some people out by, and it could not even still be a project, but I just wanted to help some people out and use something to keep me accountable and keep me straight and on a straight path. And as I'm known to say, and my children would tell you, I have a bad habit of saying, go forward, right? Go forward. And I'm have to listen to that advice because I need to go forward. And so this is part of going forward for me. So I'm gonna take this little fancy tripod I have, and now I got this little cool background, right? And I'm gonna continue to work to improve this. Keep doing insightful conversations and things that I think will help people out there that are going into inpatient, thinking about going into inpatient, just coming out, family members that maybe watch this, or you have someone in inpatient. I think maybe some of this could help out. So I do want to make a mention, because this is not like a goodbye thing, right? But I do want to make a mention that I have been really kind of following through YouTube and podcasts of other groups that are connected to addiction. And man, I am just, let's talk to my friend about this today, right? Like, there are people out there who are attempting to sell 12-step programs and, come here and I'll keep you sober and blah, blah, blah. And this like lady who thinks like she's selling some sort of chemical that takes the wax off of, I don't know what the name of that thing is, but y'all know, right? The thing she sprays, because it even takes off the wax off of fruits and vegetables. But it's the lady who's screaming at you about paying her subscription to stay sober. I mean, you can go to an AA meeting or an NA meeting and throw $1 in a bucket, and stay sober and get a good sponsor. There are a lot of people who are doing this because it keeps them sober. So, the more I learn, the less I don't want to be like those folks, right? And I just want to create a podcast ultimately that is just kind of, chatting with people, no real Q&A, just a conversation like sitting in a den with somebody who is in recovery, and it's just a good conversation. It's not a 12-step meeting. It's none of that crap. It's just a discussion in somebody's den, or just as if you were sitting having a cup of coffee with somebody. So that's my goal. And I do have some interesting things I'm thinking about doing regarding making amends, because I think that's a really, really important part of this. Everybody leaps to that initially because they think that's what AA is all about. Go and say you're sorry. But that's, part of it. But I got a really interesting twist that I'd like to maybe take on this that I think could also help and be helpful. So this is day 28. I made it through. I've been aggravating people for 28 days now. So thank you for letting me aggravate you. And we're going to keep it up. And you know, as always, if you go to this page right here on YouTube, so it's YouTube, www.youtube.com, I guess, at um, Reboot Media Productions, at Reboot Media Productions, and that gets you to this page, and subscribe. But you can see, for people who have never gone there, it's pretty fancy. Renee did a good job. And I'm hoping to see you on this journey continued. I intend on staying sober. I intend on staying accountable. I don't know why this camera's going in and out, but that's okay. That's why this thing is all so funny, right? And so realistic, because the camera, you know, probably needs to go to rehab. We'll talk about other stuff shortly, but thank you guys, everybody. And again, you know, staying focused on our goodbye letters. We'd love to talk to you about a goodbye letter. You can text me at 504-339-3102. And we can have a chat about it. I think it's a great process. There's some folks I know that have been in sobriety for a while, and I don't know that they've done a goodbye letter, but I am going to have a conversation with them, because people with any years or time in sobriety are all about helping keep other people sober, and I think the goodbye letter works really well. So we'll continue to push that effort in short reels, and then continue to develop and produce goodbye letters moving forward, plus some other things we have going forward, right? So anyway, thanks, and we'll see you again shortly.